We did it, guys. We did it.
Yeah.
We
Victory.
d- we did it. We got Ristano's going to be with us in a second. Um, guys, I don't know what to say. I am absolutely ecstatic right now. Um,
Tale of two halves, though. I mean, every time we gave them back the ball and they scored those two quick touchdowns back to back, we were sweating it out. I
oh,
mean, it was, key interceptions. Guys stepped up. They played, their hearts out from start to finish. We caught every break in the first half,
oh,
and we played well enough to win in the second half. I mean, we didn't sit on it. We scored points, and it was a great. We got so many monkeys off our back. We beat Rossenberger. We beat Pittsburgh twice in a row. We beat them in Pittsburgh. We won a playoff game. I mean, we scored the most points, 28 points in the first quarter of any playoff game, I think, in history. So we got a record. They asked the question at the end. The TV guys were going to say, "Well, we're going to interview the star of the game." I'll ask the chat, who is the star of the game? I mean, there were so many stars for us. It was unbelievable.
guys, this is such a special game. This is such a special win for us.
Yeah, birthday win.
Yeah, it's my birthday coming up in 3 days. We had a birthday cake yesterday, and when I blew out the candles, I wished for the Browns to win, and the birthday wish came through.
Yeah, Big Ben was the star of the game. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. He helped us more than any other, you might say. But Chubb played great. Hunt played very
Yeah.
well. Baker played flawless. Jarvis caught some key passes there at the end. The line blocked. Dunn played very well in a backup role. The defense, the guys who recovered the fumble, the guys who got the 3 interceptions or 4 interceptions. Parkey played great in terms of kicking every extra point, every field goal. So I mean, the coach, coached it very well. I think we criticized maybe 1 or 2 play calls in the entire game, and
Yep.
you never know why their coaches are calling them in those particular situations. Baker throwing when we have to maintain possession and keep the clock running. He did it. He completed the passes.
Yep.
So I mean, I would give a game ball to everybody who played in that game tonight and call them the stars of the game, because I wouldn't be able to pick out one individual that stood out, because there were so many contributions.
It was I mean, we knew that we were down. We knew that from the first play of the game, I couldn't believe it. I was in utter disbelief.
Yeah, they gave us a gift, just a pure and outright gift.
Yeah.
We should have recovered it on the 2-yard line, but we fumbled it into the end zone, and then we covered it. The worst thing that could have happened was we fumble it into the end zone, they recover it, and we get 2 points in the ball. We would have been happy with that, but 7 points in a gift like that, and then to get an interception on the next series, and then the big scoring plays that we had. I mean, it just Baker threw, I think, 3 touchdowns. So I mean, it was a great game, one that will go down for a long time. They'll talk about it, regardless of what we do against Kansas City next week. It's going to be hard. We lost a couple of players, but we get some players back, hopefully. So, I feel bad for the players who couldn't be there, the coach that couldn't be there. He was probably sweating bullets just like we were, but they pulled it out.
Oh my God. I mean, we went down when Van Pelt was like, there are guys that are playing offensive line that I've never met before.
Yeah, right. Well, we didn't know Dunn. No, the guy that.
Well,
put
I
at
didn't
the
know
end.
Dunn, Hurst.
Hurst, yeah. I mean, I didn't even know he was
We're
on the
literally
team.
we're pulling guys off the street to play offensive line. It was just, I mean, and then we made the plays at the end when we had to make the plays.
I wonder why Harris didn't go in. I thought Harris
Yeah, I don't know.
Was approved and he was good to go. He had a couple of good games where he went in and he played well in substitution. But evidently he must not feeling well or had an injury. I can't imagine why the coach didn't put him in.
Let's see if anybody had the
And
score.
we didn't have two of our offensive line coaches there.
Yeah.
The head line coach, which would have helped to make sure that the guys were doing the right things on the offensive line. And then the second one was out. So, I mean, they're going to be talking about this game for a long time, including Pittsburgh. And so how did they beat us? How did they possibly beat us?
Well, they beat themselves.
Well, that too.
They beat themselves.
Yeah, but we made the interceptions. I mean,
yeah, he's right. You're right.
The only gift they gave us was they didn't
4
fumble.
Ben Roethlisberger, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions.
And he threw for, 500 yards?
501 yards. Baker Mayfield, 21 of 34, 263, 3 touchdowns.
And a couple of drops. He hit guys in the hands.
I never want to hear another word from Colin Cowart. Oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I've been holding it back for a while, guys.
Yeah, they dropped a couple of passes. He should have had probably 3 more passes. That would have been 24 of 34, or probably over 300. But they dropped the passes. Now, granted, they made some great catches, and they made some great runs, especially early on between Hunt and Chubb.
Hunt with those touchdowns. I mean, just forcing it in there.
And you got to give Pittsburgh credit. They were down 28-0, and they made a game of it.
Yeah.
Just like Dallas did.
And that's the thing. We said when we went down, when we were up, it was said 28-0. I said the Pittsburgh is not gonna quit. They came back against Indianapolis. They have a veteran team. I mean, this is not a team that quits. But at the end of the day, we beat them. And we beat them with a skeleton crew, without a head coach, without Joel Bitonio, without Denzel Ward.
Right.
It go on and on and on. We beat their backups, and now we beat their best unit, and we beat them bad. And for Juju to say Browns is the Browns, how does it taste, dude? And for Darryl Ryder out there, how do you beat the Steelers? We don't. That's his new name. We don't.
Yeah, it was an incredible game, but we cannot put somebody away. We get them in a crushing position of 35-10 at halftime, I think it was, and because they got that field goal, which if we had kept them in bounds. Instead of letting them go out and get another play, maybe they don't get that field goal. But the kid made it, and luckily we got the ball at halftime in the second half, but we didn't do anything with it. And then one of the interceptions we had in the first half, we didn't score any points off. We had a penalty that set us back, and it could have been more. I turned to Mike. I said, "Well, did you think we were going to score 49 or 48 points in this game?" I mean, no one would have predicted that. I mean, now granted, Pittsburgh helped us with that first 7 points, but then we stepped up. We picked off the interceptions. We got the what you call.
I still can't believe this is happening. I still cannot believe this is happening.
Anything's possible in the NFL. If you're sitting there as a Pittsburgh fan, you got to be thinking to yourself, how did this possibly? How could we get that far behind that quickly in a key game at home?
It's unbelievable.
We caught every possible break in the first half, including when we were up 28. I don't know if it was 28-7, and then we go down and we
there he is. Hold on.
We score to make it 35. I mean, we thought maybe the game was over at that point, but it's with the Browns, it's never over.
It's never over. Mike, how are you feeling? Hold on. I gotta switch over
The audio.
the audio. Yeah. No, it should be on. Wait, hold on. There's something wrong.
Testing.
Hold on, Mike. I might need to come right back. Stay in. Hold on, guys.
It's almost-
No, I know. Mike, you there?
Nope.
Hold on.
I was getting texts on my phone from all my friends who know I'm a huge Browns fan, and they know it was a big game, and they couldn't believe how much of a lead we had, and they were congratulating me on every play that we did well. But then in the second half, they texted me back saying, "How do you feel now? How do you feel now? Are you still comfortable?
I know what he did.
Are you sweating? Are you beginning to sweat?" And finally, at the end, when they intercepted that pass the last time, then they said, "I think that should do it." And I looked at Mike and I said, "I think that should do it too. They should be able to run out the clock with the lead." And they still had to kick the field goal to make it a 19-point lead versus.
Mike, can you hear us?
I could hear you.
All right,
Hi,
there we
he is.
go. Got it. Guys, Bonzo 1273 from the Wednesday show. Mike, it is almost, it's 1 minute away from Victory Monday.
Yeah, right.
Will you be drinking out of the Victory Monday mug? Yes or no?
So it's funny you asked that because I don't know who it was on the Wednesday show called me out for no bourbon, right? Let's go.
All right. Nice.
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
I
It
wish
is
I'd
Victory
brought
Monday
mine up
right
to
now.
Orlando.
The clock has struck 12.
Cheers.
And here,
I don't
and
have my
here-
Victory mug.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And
Cheers
here
to
we
all
are.
the Browns fans in the world. Thank you guys. We love you guys. This was an amazing game from start to finish. I don't know. My emotions are all over the place. It's like the birth of my first child. It is it is overwhelming. I never thought I'd cry about a sporting event. But getting to watch it, my dad was here, my wife was in the room watching it.
Yeah,
My
wife
mom was
yeah,
there for
She was our
for-
good luck charm.
Yeah, my mom is in there, and it was just my kids. I think when we got up, it was like 28-0, and they're supposed to be sleeping, and they hear us screaming in the other room, so they're waking up. They want to watch it.
Yeah, met Max in the hallway, and he said, "I hear you guys screaming." I said, "We're winning 28-0." He said, "You got to be kidding me."
They're gonna wake up. Unbelievable. We gotta go to Kansas City tomorrow or next week. Sorry,
Next week,
next week, Kansas City,
We get the coach back. I think
and we get our players back.
He'll
Yeah.
clear COVID, so he'll be on the sidelines for that game. It's a shame that he had to miss it because he was very instrumental, I'm sure, in setting up the game plan and helping the coaches and getting the players off the practice squad into the game, into the lineup. And as our guys started going down, we had a couple of guys go out. They threw in these other guys, and they didn't create any really terrible plays or anything. Nobody got beat badly. They scored some touchdowns, but our guys were right there.
Yep.
They were knocking them down, or they just made good throws and good receptions. But we didn't get burned, except for the one where they scored really fast. Less than a minute.
That
and a half.
hurt.
That really scared
stung,
us.
yeah.
That stung.
Yeah,
Could you have scripted anything better though in terms of the way we went up 28-0 in their own house,
Right.
and then we get the victory? They're all dumbfounded. Their fans are dumbfounded,
yeah.
and the icing on the cake is the Browns juju on the bench staring into space like, what just happened? And then if that wasn't good enough, then the topping on said cake or sundae or whatever kind of dessert you're feeling tonight is watching Ben Roethlisberger's eyes red, tears coming down his face. I mean, could you ask for anything more? Could you
Well, he
ask
didn't
for
go out
anything
on the
more?
Yeah,
field.
did Ben or Juju or Claypool, did they shake hands?
Yeah,
That
they
I don't
stayed on
know.
the bench.
Yeah,
It was
I don't know if
very
they.
disrespectful, very childish, very unsportsmanlike.
I mean, this isn't. It's not like the Bulls and the Pistons here. I mean,
Right.
we went out there. We were the ones who were disrespected. If anything, we shouldn't have shaken their
Yeah.
hand. We go out there. We just
Coach went out and shook.
Yeah, Tomlin
felt,
did. I'll give Tomlin credit for
yeah,
that.
and I'm sure a lot of the players. I saw Baker hitting fives with some of the Pittsburgh players, but the three keys sat on the bench, and they showed them, on the bench. So
Yeah, guys. Everybody's in here right now. I appreciate it. This is the biggest show we've ever done. And please, if you can, hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. If nothing else, even if you don't like the Browns and you never want to watch us again, at least hit that like button for us right now and let us light this thing up. Right? Light it up. We see you guys in chat. I see all the people out there. I see Cleveland BCI and Mary. I saw Max Nikolenko is in the house. B Skrills is in the house. Kyle Duffield is here. All the OGs. Maddie B is back. Coral Ross is back. X-Men Avengers back.
Just before the game started, the announcers and the commentators were doing their review, and then they, at the end of it, they make their prediction. And the first prediction was, how was America voting on this game, and as a like a survey, and they had it at 55% Browns win the game.
America got it right.
America
That
got
they
it
did.
right.
Daryl Ryder did not get it right.
But the commentators, of the six of them or five of them, four of them picked Pittsburgh to win, and one of them picked the Browns. So we knew we had an uphill battle. We were the underdogs. There's no question about it, especially with losing certain players, and they got all their key players back, and they're all rested. They didn't play last week, most of them, like Rosenberger. So it was a great victory for all of Cleveland, all of the fans, the owner, and obviously the coaching staff they got to feel ecstatic that they lost like three or four of the coaches and who couldn't make the trip, couldn't participate, but yet we still managed to get the job done.
Yeah,
In the words of Jim Rome, no head coach, no Batonio, no Vernon, no doubt. America's team. # Browns.
Very good.
And you
very
know
good.
what? When Jim Rome was like, this is the greatest day of my life. I mean, I honestly, like, part of me is like Jim Rome. I know he's kind of trolling a little bit because when he goes on those like big Cleveland's awesome rants, he turns into like the character Jim Rome, So some of it's a little bit of if you listen to a lot of Jim Rome, you know what I'm talking about. But it's also like, he's the anti-Cowherd, he's even if he's just kidding about rooting for us, it doesn't matter. We'll accept it, right? I'd rather have somebody like that than Cowherd, who's out there just shitting on us constantly. Our own media shitting on us constantly. And you know what? Finally,
Everyone thinks it's okay by saying, "Oh, I guess I'll put some barbecue sauce on my crow." Get out of here, man.
Yeah, no. You're
Get out of
done.
here.
You're dead. Go apply for jobs in Pittsburgh, Daryl. Go apply. I'm sure they'd love to have the dangerous one in Pittsburgh because that's where you belong, dude.
I wonder how much money was lost in Vegas on this one.
Oh, well,
We had the over covered in the first half, I think.
Yeah.
It was that high of a scoring game, which I would never have predicted. I would have thought it would have been a little bit hard fought in the 20s. But when you get gifts like the first 7 points, that's great. But we earned those other points, both offensively and defensively, with the interceptions and the stops and get them off the field. Hard tackling, good runs by Chubb and Hunt, good catches. I think we had one drop right in the middle of the field that would have extended a drive, would have taken time off the clock in the fourth quarter, but we survived, and it was already hitting one of my tweeters to text to me. They were questioning why Pittsburgh, when they had all the momentum, and they had a 4th and 2, I guess it was, why they didn't go, even though it was on their 40-yard line. I think, it would have definitely been in our favor had they not gotten it. We had a great field position, but they had just scored, I think, twice in a row. Everything was going their way. Rosenberg was throwing the little short passes, and they weren't running the ball all that well. I don't know how many rushing yards they had, but
No, they didn't have that many rushing yards. I was looking at it.
they chose to punt the ball, and we had a sigh of relief when they decided to do that.
Connor at 37 yards. Wait, hold on. That's not the right game.
Hey, just to throw this out there, and I know I picked 24-21 and I said a 37, 38-yard field goal to win it. Just to throw it out there,
You
he
weren't
did kick a
wrong.
37-yarder
to ice the game, so I wasn't too far.
All right.
So
We'll give you credit for that.
Connor with 37 yards, Snell with 13, Derek Watt with 2. Derek Watt with that 2-yard, first down that he got. The Browns 76 on the ground with Nick Chubb 48 and 2 touchdowns with Kareem Hunt. Jarvis with five catches, 92 yards and a touchdown. Nick Chubb 469 yards and a touchdown. Austin Hooper 746 and a touchdown. Higgins with 2 big catches. And then one with Njoku, Peoples-Jones, and Hunt. And it's unfortunate that Hooper didn't catch that touchdown in the end.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate for us.
Right.
But man, I you know what I want to say? If they were going to interview the player of the game, Cody Parkey is my player of the game.
Split the uprights all night,
Yeah,
That-
everyone.
right
He
down
wa-
Broad
he-
Street. All
No
night.
hesitation.
Dude,
A
unbelievable.
lot of extra points, and they went for 2 twice, I think, and didn't get it. So they left points on the field. I'm looking at the score by quarter. We won the first quarter, obviously 28-0, and then we lost every quarter after that. 10-7, 13-0, and 14-13. So they outplayed us, you could say, for 3 quarters based on those scores and leaving 2 points on the field. But 28-0.
That third quarter where we put up the egg
Yeah.
was the one where we were all like, we're sweating. And I sat there and I was like, I could just see this. I kept saying this at some point. Al Michaels is going to say, man, this is really the tale of two teams, or the tale of two halves. It really looked like
He was
Cleveland.
trying. He was
He
trying.
Yeah,
wanted.
he was.
He really wanted to.
Well, he said a couple of times, I bet you, when Pittsburgh was coming back, he said, I bet you those Cleveland fans are not really, really comfortable at this point.
No, we're never
No.
comfortable.
We were.
No, we
That's
never
for
are.
sure.
Honestly, this has to be a record of the most onside covers.
Well, it was a record of 28
Ever.
points for
Yeah,
the first
in the
quarter.
history.
In history.
No, I'm
Yeah.
talking about the onside kicks. The amount of
Oh, yeah.
onside kicks
Oh,
that we
yeah,
had
yeah.
to cover
Even
this
game
season.
came down to an onside kick. And if you told me that at 28-0, I would have not believed you, but I probably would have said stranger things have happened in the way this season has gone. The Cowboys game, the Titans game, and now this game.
I said it, Dad. I
Everyone.
said it. If we,
What call did I make on Rosenberger?
that he was going to throw a lot of interceptions.
No. He was going to throw in it on that last drive.
Oh yeah, no. So at the end of the game, at the end of my game, we're sitting there, and right at the end of the game when I think there was still, but yeah, before Taki catches that interception,
Right.
before that, on the drive down, my dad goes, "This is the time when Roethlisberger is going to get sloppy, and he's going to try to force one, and he's going to get picked off, like
I saw that so many times during the
manna
season.
falling from heaven.
Right.
Taki.
Just grabs it.
I mean, honestly, Mike, for there's 2 guys that we talk about on the Wednesday show. It could almost be the Brown, instead of the Wednesday show, it's the linebacker show. And we talked about Taki, and we talked about Mac Wilson. Mac Wilson's jersey was crystal clear, clean today.
Right.
Yes,
He
it
didn't
was.
sniff the field.
One guy who stepped up early with the second, I think it was the second interception. And I asked Michael, I said, do you know who intercepted it? Because he was busy with his phone. He was doing all kinds of stuff. And he said, was that red wine? And I said, yeah, that was red wine. He had a hell of an interception.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. I mean, I was sitting there. Everybody's going nuts on Twitter right now. I
Oh, yeah.
mean, Jedrick
I-
Wills, the Browns is the Browns.
Did you see Baker coming into the tunnel to the locker room?
No.
Yeah, somebody took a video, and as he was walking by, he was slapping 5 and said, "Browns is the Browns." Corvette is trending right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
On-
What is that
on
all
Twitter.
about?
Cody Parkey is trending right now.
Yeah,
I gotta take a screenshot of that.
I know.
That
it's,
is unbelievable. Cody Parkey is trending right now, boys. We did it.
I don't even know if they're right now. Corvette is playing in the Browns locker room, and I'm watching.
Oh, that's
No way. They're not doing
Oh yeah,
that.
Kareem's dancing. Yeah, I mean, Jedrick Wills, and I don't know if it was. I mean, I'd assume that it was real, but it looked like an Instagram post, and it just said Corvette MF.
Oh,
You know-
I mean, this is fighting words,
Yeah,
man.
but you
This
know
is
what?
like,
Oh yeah, I'm watching this other video. I mean, they're waving goodbye to him. But you know what? Hey, at the end of the day, you reap what you sow. And we
You're right.
talked about it earlier that this team, I think that they have the utmost heart and fight, and they love each other. There is no question about it. But I could tell you that I am sure that a lot of them were in their fields when they found out no Bitonio, no Stefanski, etc.
right.
yeah.
And then when Juju came out with what he came out with, I mean, it was game on. And I mean, it's evident. I mean, you look at these videos, Browns is Browns. And they heard it, they didn't like it. And if anybody ever says that bulletin board material doesn't mean anything, they're lying to you.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is it. American Saxons in the house. Guys, there's so many of you guys here. I appreciate you. Everybody in the house. DF Sports is here. I saw Rachel Redhead is here. Kyle Lou is in the house. Just trying to make sure I get all the regulars up in this.
Max Nikolenko's in
Max
here.
Nikolenko, saw him. Guts is in the house. Isaiah Gassina's here.
Where's Gary Washington? Is he in here yet?
I don't think I've seen Gary, and I apologize for
I'm
that.
sure he's in there. We got a lot of people in
Gary's got to be here too. Yes, Coral Ross is in the house. Guys, we just experienced history. We really did. We
there.
we just experienced
Game
history.
that they will recount for at least for the Browns anyway. I don't. The Pittsburgh, it'll go down as a collapse in the first quarter and a valiant effort to get back into the game. But for the Browns, it's going to go down as an epic. To get all of these losing streaks behind us in Pittsburgh and with Ben Roethlisberger and so forth, and to win our first playoff game. It's just huge. They'll be talking about this game more than any of the other games. I think that over the weekend, out of the 6 games, they'll be talking about this one because it beat the Steelers and the Browns were expected to lose.
And it honestly feels like we won a much bigger game than this is.
Right.
True.
Yeah,
we get the privilege of playing in Kansas City against probably the best team and the best quarterback.
Yeah, but
Just hope
It's
we don't
just-
embarrass ourselves.
I mean, and you know what's wild is, I mean, you're already down Bitonio. We didn't know if Conklin was going to play,
Right.
and then the worst case scenario happens. Conklin pulls a hammy, you and I, Mike, we talked about it throughout the game on the phone. There, he probably should be okay. He was on the sideline. He was in his uniform. I think they held him out as precaution, but.
Yep.
Then Dunn goes down,
Right.
oh,
and he was playing really well, and I had faith in him during the week, and he backed me up, and then he went down, and then Nance came in. And I don't know if you guys saw, I caught Baker's his press conference, not his press conference, but his interview after the game,
No.
and he was talking about it, and he said, "Look, we were missing guys on the line." He goes, Dunn came in and played great, then he goes down, and then Nance comes in. He goes, and this is exactly what he said on national TV. He said, "Look, I introduced myself to Blake Nance in the locker room before the game. So I mean,
Really?
so that's it really speaks volumes to the job that those guys. I mean, it's next man up. I mean, that's what Kevin Stefanski has been preaching, and I mean, these guys would probably walk to the end of the earth with this guy. So he was probably in his basement freaking out.
Now we get Kevin Stefanski back. So what are all the things that we talked about? You're playing for the coach. You're playing for Batonio. You're playing for the guys like Odell, who's just rooting for us, in a wheelchair, right? You're figuratively speaking, you're playing for the city. They're playing for themselves. A team of young guys who have been disrespected because of history. And you know what? That's really unfair. And to me, as a competitor, if you're imagine you're a guy like Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb and Jarvis Landry and Baker Mayfield. These guys got drafted really high or got brought in after having a lot of production, and then to be just labeled a loser without ever playing a game, right? Because of recent and past history. And you had to see the drive and the fumble to start off the game. They just have to relive and just pour lemon juice on those old wounds, and you know what? Here's the thing though, guys, and this is the reality. We're never going to get past the drive and the fumble and this garbage history we've had for like the last 20 years until we succeed.
Right.
You don't get respect, you earn it. And we earned that label of losers for a long time. We earned that the hard way, and now we have to unearn that to become winners. And you do that by winning. You do that by beating the guys that you have to beat.
Yeah, because if Pittsburgh beat us last week and they were close to beating us at the end, they had a shot, they had a possibility. They would have knocked us out of the playoffs, and they wouldn't have had to play us this week.
Yeah.
They would have played somebody else.
And what's crazy is you forget, like, after this victory, like, I mean, we just beat them 2 weeks in a row. One, to get in, and two, to continue, throughout the dance. I mean,
it doesn't. It's funny. Earlier in the season, if for the people who've watched us for the whole season and even last year, but even this season specifically, we would go through all the early games, early in the first couple games. Okay, well, imagine this scenario, imagine that scenario. And it came down to the one scenario that I did not want to have it come down to, which is us having to play Pittsburgh to make it into the playoffs. And then it happened, and we passed that test. And then we had to go into Pittsburgh, a place where we've won 6 times in the last 50 years without our head coach, without 2 of our offensive line coaches. We had basically a quality control guy pulled out of the front office to hold a chart and coach our offensive line. And then guys keep going down. COVID is running rampant all over our team, and all we do is overcome. And guys, I've said it for a long time. If we end up for some miracle winning the Super Bowl this year, they are going to make a movie out of this season, and it is going to be drama or epic drama. Even if they don't make a movie, even if they just do like an NFL like films,
30-30 or something.
30 for 30 of this season, it'll be amazing. It will be absolutely amazing. Thanks for the follow, Beyond, over there on Twitch. We're multi-streaming right now, guys. I know we got most people over here on YouTube. That's kind of where we build our base, but we are also got some guys over there on Twitch as well, so appreciate that. At what point, Mike, did you feel like we had it? Was it the onside? Was it talkie, or was it like, when did it really feel real to you?
So I was challenged many a time, but I would say I got really worried when we just couldn't do anything. I mean, at one point it looked like they were playing 7-on-7.
Yeah.
And then we finally got that stop.
Right.
And I felt that if we could score points off of that we would be okay. And we didn't. We wound up punting again. And then I think it was the the series after that, when Chubb scored, and then I started feeling a little bit better, and then the field goal hit, and then I knew that it was going to be an uphill battle for them. But it's I mean, it's tough because you look at a game like that, and you got all those breaks in the beginning, and you're up 28 nothing at halftime, and then you go into the second half, and it's I mean, you can only get so many possessions, and
Right.
the law of averages say that you're not going to score on 75% of those possessions. So you knew that the Steelers weren't just going to lie down in the second half. Now, did I think that they were just going to run up and down the field like we had a shell defense? I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it got a little hairy, but that was the point when we kicked that field goal. I felt more confident, even though I in my heart of hearts I knew they were going to win the game. But I mean, this is like the cardiac kids, really. I mean, it's been something all year, and I'm speechless. My flag is going to still fly all week, and my
Yeah.
wreath is going to stay on the door, and my elf garden flag is going to stay out there, and my Steeler neighbors all around me, they're going to have to stare at the flag, and it's about time because we've been the doormat for too many years.
Yeah, my VP of sales is a Steeler fan. He came on last week for the pregame show, and he's a very, very honorable, great guy, and I'm sure he's going to do nothing but congratulate us and congratulate the Browns. And I know he's not bitter about it. I think he's more just pissed off at his own team, like we would be if we lost.
Right.
Yeah, I haven't texted him. I'm not rubbing it in at all. I don't feel like that's a smart thing to do. But Mike, I can't stop thinking about how when you're bringing it up on the Wednesday show that that Juju coming out with that interview, and I honestly thought it was more of like a harmless thing to say. He's like, the Browns are the Browns, like the Browns are the Browns, just like any team is any team.
I think I think the rest of it was the Browns are the Browns of the last 20 years. That's who we're going to play this week. I think that was the way he meant it and the way he said it.
So, and I think people were thinking that, yeah.
Yeah, and I think he basically, if he would have left it at the grayless faces, I mean, that's a Mike Tomlin line that he uses all the time. But then he took it that step further and said, yeah, I guess they have a couple of good players, but the Browns is the Browns. And so I think that was when they were like, I mean, you can't do it. I mean, remember Eric Ebron when back in November when LeBron said 8-3, we're on our way, and Ebron then tweeted back at him and said, well, where are you going, bro? Well, where are you going now?
And then
Ebron?
Jarvis said, you'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's.
Oh yeah, they were saying there's a rage game at Baker versus Mahomes in college was so good. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a rematch of that game.
Yeah, two egos on the same field, boy.
Well, I mean, two Texas Tech boys.
Yeah, and great players. Baker played as good as he needed to play to win the game and also not lose it by doing what Roethlisberger did. I mean, Roethlisberger threw some bad interceptions. He got one was a tip. The other one, the Taki one, was a bad one. He never saw him. The guy, Taki just stood up, you might say, behind a lineman and just grabbed it and secured it, held onto it, and made a nice run. And that was the ball game. So.
Oh yeah, I'm American Saxon saying sweet hype victory hype video. I feel like we probably need a hype video after what we experienced tonight. Yeah. I mean, guys, I got to tell you, I was all ready to have a very somber hype video just coming. And now we get to keep going. We got Kansas City next week.
Another pregame and a postgame show next week. So, and a Wednesday show with you guys.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, guys.
Into January.
Well into January football.
This is what, Mike? Would this be the early winter? Is that where we're at? The deep
I
fall
think-
to the early winter?
I think this is probably. I wouldn't say this is. It's a little early. It's a little it's budding. It's a budding winter, right?
I agree.
But man, it is a good feeling to. I haven't seen us play football past my birthday since I was 14 years old.
Wednesday, right? The Wednesday show is your birthday this week.
It is. We're gonna have two.
Right?
I think we talked about that. We're gonna have two birthday Wednesday shows.
And they were 2 victory Wednesdays.
Yes. My wife's like, "What are we doing? What restaurant are we going to? What are we doing?" I'm like, "I mean, we have the Wednesday show. Like, what do you mean? You're gonna be in the living room watching me and Mike talk for 3 hours on the Wednesday show."
They're going to the 5 o'clock special.
Oh man, guys. Well, hey guys, thank you everybody. Please hit the subscribe button. Help us out with that. We're getting so close to 4,000. I'm gonna do a giveaway. There's too many people in here to do the giveaway right now because it'll just be insane.
Scores.
It'll be insane. So I'm gonna do a giveaway tomorrow on Twitter. So follow me on Twitter. Follow Mike on Twitter as well. Bonzo1273. Check us out for the Wednesday show. Every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. That will be our next show. And then my dad and I, and most likely Mike, will be joining us as well for the pre and post game show for freaking Kansas City.
Absolutely.
Next week, not the final boss, but basically the final. I mean, it feels like the final boss. You beat the Super Bowl champions to go to the AFC Championship game, which will probably likely be against either the Bills or the freaking Ravens. And honestly, like, I'd rather it be the Ravens because
Could you imagine?
beating the Ravens to go to the Super Bowl.
Talk about a year of redemption.
Oh my God, guys.
Yeah, that would be impossible. That'd be impossible.
I mean,
This was our gift, getting into playoffs and then beating Pittsburgh the way we did today. That's our gift for the new year, and hopefully, we have a good game against Kansas City, and who knows, if the gods are with them, we'll win that game. But it's great to have this behind us at this point. It was a great end, and it still has possibilities to go further.
Yep.
yeah, guys, this has been unbelievable so far. It's a ride that, like, I'm happy that we're still on. We're not talking about the draft. We're not talking about what coach, if Urban Meyer is somebody we should consider bringing in.
This would have been, the drive, the fumble, the collapse.
Yes, yeah.
Or the comeback. We would have had to live with that for I don't know how many years. So
It would have been.
God that didn't happen. Oh,
And it's another Baker. I think we talked about it a little while ago. It's another Baker Mayfield, getting us over it. The dude said, if anybody's going to turn this franchise around, it's going to be me. And he's just done it.
Hey, you want to laugh? You know that Colin Dunlap guy that
Oh yeah, who mocks us on Pittsburgh radio?
Yeah, he tweets out, "Nice win by the Browns, good for them. I still think their fans are bums, all of them, every single one."
every single
That guy is gonna feel that guy's gonna feel the wrath from Browns fans just shitting on him.
Oh yeah.
And you know what? That's fine. I mean, if he wants to troll Browns fans and get clicks or whatever, that's fine. But nobody and nothing is gonna take away this feeling. I had low expectations. I was expecting to see Ben Roethlisberger and those guys and Mike Tomlin walk off the field with big stupid smiles on their face like they've done for so long. And at the end of the day, you gotta think this could be the end for Ben Roethlisberger. There is a possibility that we saw the last of Ben Roethlisberger, and we put him in the ground.
Yeah, certainly the Pittsburgh fans who were not big in recent years Ben Roethlisberger fans, they're probably calling for his head next year. So,
I mean,
beautiful thing.
it's scary.
Yeah, beautiful thing.
It's scary though, because you got to look at it going, do we want to really go back into the void that is looking for a quarterback? When you got guys like Stafford out there and possibly even Deshaun Watson could be on the block, that's my worst nightmare.
Yeah, it's probably better that we let Roethlisberger come back for one more year. I think we
Yeah.
can handle him now. We beat him
Yeah.
in his own house in a key game, a playoff game. But at some point they're going to have to draft or trade for a replacement for him, and then depending on who they get, we're going to have some great quarterbacks in our division.
Yeah, you know what? The other thing that really, when you look big picture, I mean, because of the pieces that we have on offense, I mean, we know all the usual suspects, but it's the reason why we were able to win a game like this. And we were talking about on the pregame show, 7 games they scored 30 plus points, and here they are, exceeding that. And you only have to believe that come next year, let's say Delpit comes back healthy and he's the player that we thought we were going to get out of LSU after he rehabbed. Now all of a sudden you've solved the that part of the back end. Denzel's back. Hopefully we'll have Greedy back, or I still think they're going to draft a defensive back early.
Yep.
And
a linebacker probably.
Yep. And then so I think you'll have hopefully Denzel will be able to to stay healthy next year. But I mean, I think you look at this offense and they're young. They've got, I mean, the offensive line is fabulous, and then you start filling in those holes on the defensive side. And I got to be honest with you, next year, and I'm not saying that they're done by any stretch of the imagination, but they could most certainly go on a run like we talk about all the time with the Eagles a few years ago. But next year with an improved defense and this offense, I mean, next year could be really scary,
Right.
when you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the window, guys. We are experiencing the window. When you saw DePodesta and Barry and Haslam on the field there, it was, these were guys that I didn't believe in. I'll be the first one to admit it. I did not believe it, and I wasn't a hater like the media,
Yeah.
but I was just, these guys, they hadn't earned it from me yet either as a fan.
Yeah.
And finally these guys, they were able to do it and put enough products on the field and then give them enough motivation. And we won one for the Gipper today.
Absolutely.
We really did.
Those guys who were not able to go there, be there for COVID or injuries, these guys stepped up and they won it for them. And thank God, somebody was looking at talent on the practice squad or to go to the practice squad. Looking at Washington the other night, the kid who was the quarterback, Henke, he was on the practice squad, or he was assigned to the practice squad on December 8th, and he plays in that game yesterday. I mean, fortunes can change overnight, and hopefully the guys who did get in and play are respected and brought back and given more opportunities.
MJ Stewart, 9 tackles, interception. Sheldrick Redwine
Stepped up.
Sione Taki. I mean,
Harrison got hurt again. Like is that going to be a durability issue?
I do. What about Porter Gustin?
Yeah, with that pick.
Yeah.
Porter Gustin,
A diving pick. We had 2 diving picks.
dude.
Yeah, we did. Claiborne played well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put pressure on. Miles never got to Roethlisberger, but he put pressure on him enough to force him to. And I felt like I think that Ben felt the pressure, right? But guys, looking at the time of possession, they had the ball for 32 minutes. We had it for 27. We only had 3 penalties for 20 yards.
Yeah, that was good.
Big.
A couple of them hurt us, but
How about the refs,
not
though?
bad. Not a certain, and not a lot of flags in the secondary. I didn't see a
They let 'em
whole
play.
lot of pass interference or holding or whatever. Maybe because they were playing so deep and prevent and just coming up and letting them have the 10, 12 yards, which they did on a couple of drives. But still, you would have thought that the way that we saw the whole season with our guys, even with our best players in there. We were just getting flag after flag after flag, and every time we scored, we're looking at each other. Is there a flag? Is somebody
Yeah,
holding?
it's just
Is somebody-
it's just no flags.
no flag.
And
Unbelievable.
you know what's interesting is I, to me it was I couldn't believe it, but then again, I mean it's the officiating in the NFL, but they may have never even got back into this game if the refs stop the clock and bring out the chains, because if you look at that fourth down when Connor got the first down and then they scored the touchdown,
Right.
when the line judge came in and he had his foot marked, it was well in front of where
Yeah, we
the
saw
line
that
to
too.
gain was.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Then he moved it.
yeah, and if you look at the replay, Connor's knee was down. He did not get that first down, and they sort of, that's one of those benefit of the doubt because it's the black and gold. But I mean that could have been a pivotal point, and I think if they would have gotten that right, then they might not even have come back in that game.
Well,
Right.
I
Yeah,
think
we
I
would've
think
stopped him, man.
I think the other pivotal moment too was when Mike Tomlin decided to not go for it on 4th and 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah,
Moving
he's
the ball
gonna
at
get
will.
criticized this week for that.
Midfield when
Yeah.
With the momentum.
with the momentum, they were going for
We
the
were on our
jugular.
heels. Yeah, we
And
breathed a sigh of relief when we saw the punter coming out. But,
Oh, we were like, this is unbelievable. They're actually, and I think what Tomlin was going is like, let's try to draw them off sides with that weird stuff.
Yeah.
And when they didn't, they're like, oh crap, now we have to punt.
or call a timeout.
Yeah, or do that, and
they
were,
didn't, and they had to move them back 5 yards, and they had to punt at that point. There was no going for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was the play, and then we turned that into points. We scored on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that we went down and scored when we were falling apart, we were coming apart at the seam, and Mike Tomlin decided, instead of going for it, they were 4 for 4 on 4th down.
Mhm.
You
I
know,
believe it.
they were 4 for 4 on 4th down, or 3 for 3, I think, and that would have been it. That would have been the last one, and he just, for some reason, decided to get conservative. Then
Yeah, there was time on the clock. He figured he could pin us, which he did. He pinned us like at the 10-yard line, and I can't remember now what happened after that.
we ended up going down scoring.
Did we? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then it was great. And
Yeah. I mean, they had a fumble lost and 4 interceptions. I said this in the pregame show. It's going to come down to turnovers and then special teams execution. Those are the two things. Obviously, a lot
did
more
say that.
happened in that game, but
Yeah.
we did the two key things that I needed us to do. And it started from it reminded me of the Broncos Seahawks Super Bowl, when Peyton Manning's first time on the first play when they got it, and it just went over his head, and then I think they got a safety. It started off like that, and I was like, this is insane.
Yeah.
And then the fact that Miles didn't get it, but kind of nudged it into the end zone, and then 3 of our guys fell on it.
right.
I was just sitting down. I think might have been texting with you, Mike. I wasn't even really watching that moment. I looked up, it went over his head. Everybody in the room started going, "Whoa!" and then that happened, and and I was like, okay. And then interception, and then touchdown, and then touchdown, and then touchdown, and it was like, I mean, this is gonna go down in history as the best game I've ever seen in my life. I really hope it gets better than this. But to this point in my life, I have not seen a better football game that mattered this much, because we saw the Dallas game where we got up by a ton, the Tennessee game where we got up by a ton. But this is Pittsburgh in the playoffs, with everything, with all the cards stacked against us. And we went out there and got shot out of a cannon and smacked them in the mouth. And I'm
Right.
so proud of this team. I'm so proud to be a Cleveland Browns fan right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know about you, Mike, but like we're getting texted by like everybody that we know who has our phone number, because they know us as like the Browns fans, right?
Yeah.
And and everybody's congratulating us and saying like, "Hey, good job, that was awesome." And even when Al Michaels and Collinsworth were saying, "Well, Cleveland's going to be moving on to Kansas City," and blah blah blah, I'm like, "Dude, there's still 2 minutes and 30 seconds
Right.
left."
Yeah, right. But
Like-
still, till it got under 3, we were really sweating it.
Yeah,
And when Parkey hit that field goal, that was even better.
when he hit the field goal, I felt good. But when Ben went down and kicked and scored the touchdown, I'm like, "Look, guys, weirder things have happened in the NFL.
Absolutely.
If that ball bounces weird, like the Carlson bounce last week, and then he doesn't get on it, that's a different situation for us." And I still think with a minute left, I don't think there would have been enough time to score a touchdown, get the ball back again, and get a field goal. They would have had to score a touchdown like on one play, and like
Right.
it just would have been. I mean, the percentage at that point was like 98%, maybe even 99. So, but guys, thank you very much. It's getting late. It's almost
too.
1:00.
Congratulations. Great win.
Go Browns.
Enjoy the Monday celebration.
Yes. We'll be breaking that mug out tomorrow morning for all you guys out there.
You have to change from bourbon to coffee, huh?
Right?
Yeah, we got to change it up. Everybody's going to have a big, fun, sleepy day tomorrow because there's going to be a lot of people drinking and a lot of people staying up late. But thank you guys all. Thank you guys very much. And we will see you on the Wednesday show. At Wednesday at 7 p.m. for my birthday. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. We'll see you then. Appreciate you all. Go Brownies.
Go Brownies.
Go Browns.